Have people lost their minds? Hello, wonderful. There was a post in the group about, are people acting even worse now? So I want to talk about COVID, right? And the stay-at-home order and all that kind of stuff. I do not want to get into a political debate or whether or not people should or stay home or anything like that. What I do want to say is, as soon as I heard about what was going to happen and that people were going to be asked to be stay-at-home, I immediately had some real concerns about the mental health aspect of that, right? The mental health of isolation, the mental health of, Ben is like driving like a maniac right now. Yeah, we were on our way to dinner, and I was like, oh, I'm going live. Anyway, because I wanted to ask this question. So, within the mental health component of isolation, of being, so many of people's coping strategies being taken away, whether that be workaholic, whether that be busyness, whether that be sometimes exercise, where the gyms were closed, all that kind of stuff. They're going to be huge mental changes. And actually in our hometown, we had 8 suicides, I think, the first week of the stay-at-home order, which is really terrifying. And our mayor really took notice of that, and he was in national news about it, and I just love that and appreciate that about him. But even if you noticed the Facebook group and the changes that were made in the Facebook group from the stay-at-home order, that was very strategic, because if you notice, I'm going live way more than I did before, which is good for you guys anyway, but it was very strategic, and I was very worried about you. I was very worried about the mental health aspect of loneliness, right? There's so many studies that talk about how we are just the loneliest nation. We used to, or in the world, we are tribal creatures, right? Client, just enrolled a client today, and she was talking about being pack animals and wanting to do life alone, and it's like, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that's totally it. And when you put loneliness and take away people's coping strategies, it's going to create some inner turmoil. There's a lot of things about people relapsing from addiction, depression on the rise. I told you about the suicides across the nation, as well as my hometown. Abuse is also on the rise, and things are opening up now. We'll see what happens in the future. Things are opening up right now, and there's consequences of staying shut and consequences of being open. And again, that's not the point. That's not the point of this conversation. But I do want to say that we have not seen people during COVID, and I'm talking about the COVID situation, stay at home, we've seen a lot of anger, right? We've seen a lot of desperation and confusion. And so if that has changed some dynamics within your relationships, or within exes reaching back out because they were lonely or bored or whatever else, or they had other coping strategies being taken away, I'm not going to be surprised by that, right? That is, I've seen it over and over and over. So whoever had that question in the group, I'll have to go back and see who it was and ask me to address it. Yes, when you take social creatures who are already kind of lonely, because they're stuck on technology or isolated from their families, or, divorce that's on the rise and all that kind of stuff, and then you create a situation where there's kind of forced loneliness upon them to some extent, there's going to be some consequences. There's going to be some changes in behavior. And, but, okay, that's not an excuse for bad behavior. That's not an excuse for someone to come out of your past and then hurt you again. That's not an excuse. Loneliness doesn't make them a better choice, right? If they were a bad choice, you being lonely or being isolated doesn't make them a better choice, okay? So I hope that helps. Say hi.
Hello.
We're off to dinner, and while things are open, and hope you have a great night. And if you have any questions about that, comment below. That was just kind of a random question. I thought I'd pop on and answer. But yes, when you isolate people, it's not a great thing, which is why it is so important to heal, so that you don't have to spend the rest of your life isolated. Sometimes people say things like, oh, I'm just going to give up because I'll probably end up in another toxic relationship again. And I'm like, what? You're going to give up on love or the sense of family, or just hide behind work or kids or whatever? That is the saddest thing to me, and it's such a heartbreak to me. I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to give up. Not everybody's bad. Not everybody's bad. Not everybody's bad. Okay? So you guys enjoy your night, and I'm going to enjoy some cheese. Have a great day.